So in any environment, the highest risk person that walks onto your site is always going to be a visitor. It's going to be a contractor. It's going to be somebody that is not there on a day-to-day basis. Those are the highest risk people at your site. In any workplace situation, it's always the visitors. So even if it's just one person, you should take the time out to go through a thorough contractor safety orientation with the same message. And people need to know and understand, hey, you have a resource. You're the highest risk on site, and we take safety seriously here. It's critical. Just by coming in and starting and being that first day, that contractor safety orientation can change the thought process and can really prevent somebody from getting hurt. So just don't check the box. That's why we're going to safety training videos. I just didn't want this to be a check the box process. Anytime that I can be here directly in front of the contractor, directly in front of the visitors, I am. It's that important, and it should be to you. So contractor safety orientation at lapel. Biggest thing, all contractors' employees must conduct themselves in a safe manner at all times. Also, all contractors, employees, and visitors must comply with all laws, regulations, and standards. It is OI's intent to strictly enforce safety rules and policies. So you're going to see members of my leadership team walking the floor, checking PPE. I've had people that have been here for the last 20, 30, 40 years. You being a visitor, I told them, look, any visitor that walks on here, look out for him. If you see something, say something. If you say something, do something. So if somebody comes up to you throughout your visit, remember that it all comes from a place of love and care. We're looking out for you. All visitors are required to wear a high visibility vest for a reason. You know, we want you to stand out, and not only stand out, we want to have extra eyes on you. So we're not picking on you, but we're looking because we know you're newer to the site. You know, you may not know what you don't know. So everybody has extra eyes on any visitor that steps into the facility. Now, when arriving to the plant, it is critical that you check in at the front office. This is how we will account for contractors, visitors in an emergency situation. In an emergency situation, the first thing I tell my guys to go to is that logbook. So it is critical that you check in every time front office and that you make sure that you have some type of high visibility vest. This is what makes you stand out. This is what makes you a contractor. And it's a visual indicator, hey, he's newer to the facility, right? Now, once you're in your destination area, do not wander into other areas of the facility. Highest risk. The highest risk that we have on site is mobile equipment, pedestrian interaction. And this is anybody that walks on site, especially a visitor. You are the highest risk in the facility. Even me, I'm exposed to it. You have to travel through warehouse areas. Our basement, our warehouse and shipping areas are high risk for mobile equipment. You do not want to go in those areas unless you have a business reason. And once you do enter those areas, you have to have a high visibility clothing, a high visibility vest, and your head should be on a swivel at all times. I've never seen a pedestrian win in a mobile equipment pedestrian interaction. I just never seen it happen. So it's important, right? Second, any unsafe act, unsafe condition, report it immediately. Should there be any medical emergency for any type of circumstance, whether it be connected to the job that you're doing or whether it be personal, we need to know about it. The key to knowing and understanding any medical emergencies and anything you don't have the warm and fuzzies about is I'm a resource. I'm a resource. We want to make sure you have the best care while you're on this site. If you don't have the warm and fuzzies about something, you have new and unique eyes. We owe you a conversation. So let us know. Let us know. As OI, we complete an incident report within 48 hours. So we want to know immediately. Don't Soon as you feel the pain in your back, tell me. If we want to know right at the beginning. So let's communicate. Now, golden rules. These are the life critical safety rules to where if you break them and you happen to not be in a body bag, we'd rather see you at home. You're going to be sent home. These are our life critical golden rules that, they have high consequences for not following. Number one, personal protective equipment. Always wear the appropriate personal protective equipment for the job task as required. PPE. I'm going to go over the specific PPE requirements next slide. But the basics, right? Safety glasses, hard hat, high visibility vest, steel toe boots, hearing protection. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, right? Second piece, lockout, tag out. Ensure machines are all fully locked and tagged out prior to performing any maintenance or repair work. Lockout, tag out. You want to shut it down. You want to lock out the equipment. Make sure you contact maintenance. Make sure you contact your contract coordinator to ensure that we have the correct procedure for isolating that equipment. Number three, working at heights. I know contractors, the rule is 6 foot, but you walk into my facility, the rule is 4 foot. If you're above 4 feet and you don't have a standard guardrail system around you in place, then you must be tied off, 100% tie off. So this is the highest risk for one of the highest risks for contractors specifically, because you have to perform work at heights. It's important. Now, machinery operations. Do not operate or unjam equipment or machinery without proper tools, training, safety devices, or safeguarding controls in place. Machinery operations, critical. We have bottles. We have machines that are already guarded. Do not put your hands any place that they're not supposed to be. Next one, vehicle operations. So I tell this to everybody. Before going in front or behind any forklift, make sure you make eye contact and you're acknowledged by the driver. That's the only control that we have in place for mobile equipment and pedestrian interactions. You have to make that work. I've never seen a pedestrian win in this situation. You have to be communicating. And that takes a head nod, that's a peace sign, that's something. Saying that the driver, it has acknowledged me. Drivers, when operating a vehicle, always wear your seatbelt and never use a mobile device. Like, essential. I tell people are related to the football field also. Keep your head on the swivel while you're in the facility. Head on the swivel at all times when you're moving throughout the warehouse, when you're going through shipping. When you're in a Walmart or McDonald's parking lot, your head better be on a swivel. It's important, right? And then the last piece, stop work authority. All employees are authorized to stop work whenever they're uncertain about the safety of the work activity. Look, if you don't have the warm and fuzzies about anything you're asked to do on site, I owe you a conversation. I'm George Nelson. My number is 317-282-7999. Let me know. Let me know. I owe you a conversation. But that's the only thing that we have in place. That's stop work authority. That's anybody that walks into the facility. Have stop work authority and don't be afraid to use it, especially as a contractor. You may see things that we're not normal, that are normal to us. So risk tolerance, we gotta be on the same page, right? Golden rules, essential. Now, no smoking is allowed inside the plant. We have designated smoke areas outside of the plant. All warning and informational signs must be followed. Specifically, red tape, yellow tape. Before you cross that tape, you need to understand the hazard on the other side of that tape before you just cross it. It's a reason that it's there. So you either understand why it's there and what precautions need to be put in place, or you find another route. You don't want to just cross red tape or yellow tape. That tape is there for a reason. Think about it. Get the proper information, right? Stop. Now, in an event of emergency situation, What you want to do, first of all, plant manager, shift foreman, is going to determine the emergency. Basically, how it works, it'll be two loud air horns, beep, and then it'll be communication over the radio to evacuate. Highest risk is a fire situation. And a fire situation, your main responsibility is you. So you want to go out the closest exit door, and then you want to come up right to the front office, the grass area right next to the front office, to be accounted for. It is extremely important that you report to the grass area right by the front office to be accounted for, because if not, then we may send firefighters, we may send emergency responders into a situation or into a building because we thinking we don't have everybody. So that's your key responsibility. Don't go and get your jacket. Don't go and get your tools. In an emergency situation, two air horns. Communication over the radio. You'll see people evacuating. Exit the closest exit door and come right up here to the grassy area. Wait till your name is called. Wait to be accounted for. It's important. Number 2, shelter in place location. Shelter in place situation. Similar, 2 large air horns, communication over the radio. The office areas are our shelter in place locations. The front office basement is the primary location. So that's where you want to go, shelter in place, tornado situation. Those type of situations. That's what you want to go. That's where you want to do. Now, basic PPE to be worn. Foam cap, foam line safety glasses. We work in a glass plant. Glass has a tendency to shatter. So you want to have that foam line protection to help you in those situations. Safety boots. So either steel or composite, and they have to be puncture resistant and have the electrical hazard rating. Also, everywhere you go in the facility requires hearing protection. And I'll tell you, if you're not going to compress, roll them up, stick them in, and let them expand, you may as well not even wear them. They're useless. So wear your hearing protection right. We have a loud facility. So hearing protection is required all throughout. Other PPE requirements, cover-resistant gloves. This is anytime we're going to be handling bottles, touching equipment. Have to have on cut-resistant gloves. High visibility vests. This is anytime you're entering a shipping or a warehouse area. You want to have a high-vis vest. These areas are not used to people. They're not used to people. So if you don't have a business reason, you don't want to be there. But regardless, make sure you have the high-vis vest ready and head on the swivel at all times. Fall protection, any height above 4 feet, and you have to have respiratory protection just to step a toe into our batch house. We have some dust that require a respirator. Being in a respiratory protection program has a lot of different steps. You got to be medically cleared, you got to be fit tested. So until I have all that information, you cannot step foot in the batch house. Have to be a part of the respiratory protection program. Now, anything above 4 feet, we also have a working at heights permit. So this working at heights permit is something new for the past couple years, but it's required anytime you're going to be putting on fall protection. Anytime you're going to be putting on fall protection, I don't care if you're in an aerial lift, scissor lift, whatever it may be, you have to have this working at heights permit. And this goes over the rescue plan. This also, you have an OI, contractor coordinator, that signs off on this permit to make sure he looks into your fall protection. Make sure it has the proper fall clearance. So your lanyard will activate before you hit the ground. You know, we try to dot all our I's and cross all our T's with the working at heights permit, but there's a lot that goes into it. Fall protection inspection, rescue plan, fall clearance, making sure we have the appropriate fall clearance. All life critical things that you want to know and understand before you get up. Because when you get up at heights, it's already too late. Now, Visitors should never enter an electrical substation for any reason unless you're with a qualified employee. Also, any chemicals brought on site, I have to know about them. I have to know about them, and there's a pre-approval process before we just let you bring chemicals in. We have to have the SDSs, and we have to make sure that you're not going to bring anything in that'll mix with some of our chemicals and have a bad day. It's important. So you bring in any chemicals, let me know prior to. Horseplay running is prohibited on site. Also, the use of or being under the influence of intoxicating beverages or drugs. So no alcoholic beverages at lunch. Other safety permit requirements. So I talked about the work and the heights permit. 4 foot is our rule. Anytime we're above 4 feet, we don't have that standard guardrail system in place, you need to be in fire protection. Fire protection automatically requires a working at heights permit. Other permits that we have, a job hazard analysis for all tasks that are performed. This is the basic hazards of the job, and make sure, OI and the contract company is both on the same page before the job is taking place, right? 2, hot work permits with the fire watch, for any grinding, cutting, welding, any type of spark producing activity. You have to have a hot work permit. It has to be present at the job site. You have to have a fire watch there with a fire extinguisher. And that's his sole responsibility to make sure that no fire, no slag gets outside of the area, and he has to be there 30 minutes after the job is done. It's important. It is important. Also, confined space entry. So anytime you're going to enter a confined space, there's a lot of different things that go with it. We have to test the atmosphere. You have to have a confined space entry permit. You have to have a rescue plan. We have to have make sure the attendant has the appropriate training. The entrant has the appropriate training. There's a lot of different layers with confined space entry also. And we have all of our confined spaces labeled on site. Now, asbestos. We do have asbestos. It's labeled danger, contains asbestos fibers, avoid creating dust, cancer and lung disease hazard. If you see anything like this in our facility damage, get away from it and come tell somebody. Get the heck away from it and then come tell somebody. This, as long as the asbestos that we have is not in a friable or damaged state, it's okay. It's when it's damaged that we have higher risk, that we have an issue. So let us know. High risk zone, safe walk path. So other than health and safety, environmental health and safety, we also have food safety requirements. Basically, anything past the Lear ovens, code in, is considered high risk. High risk area. You have to wash your hands before you enter these areas, specifically, right? Also, all jewelry must be removed. All jewelry must be removed. We don't allow any jewelry to enter the site when you're going into a production area. It's a quality, it's a food safety requirement. All employees, contractors must wash their hands when they become soiled. When you come from the employee break room, when you come from the bathroom, when you go and enter a high-risk area, when you come from the locker rooms, all of those should trigger a hand washing. And we have hand washing stations set up before you go through any of these areas. So it's essential. Wash your hands frequently. Food, prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs should only be consumed in the break room, in the locker room. That's it. So you should not have any candy, gum, food, beverages, anything like that out on the production floor. We don't want to contaminate. We don't want to contaminate our product, right? So it's important. Any visitor that is seen visibly ill or acquired a communicable disease, contact us, let us know. We're going to restrict entry into the plant. Let us know as soon as possible. Also, any tools that you bring into the high-risk area to perform your job, they must be cleaned. So reach out to your contract coordinator on the proper sanitizing cleaning solution to bring tools into our high-risk areas when you're on site. It's something that you have to consider. Now, all in all, the main goal is that you leave the same way that you come in every single day. As a visitor, you are the highest risk employee on our site. So, look, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Keep your head on the swivel at all times. And don't be afraid to use your stop work authority. Like I said, I owe you a conversation. I owe you a conversation, at least a conversation. So don't be afraid to contact. Thank you.